variety and make today the most wonderful time of the year. Live Claritin Clear.
It's the Jeep Celebration event at Waynesboro. From Wranglers to Grand Cherokees, get interest rates as low as 0%. Save over $3,000 on Jeep Gladiators. Take a short drive on 25 and we'll save you time and money. GoodToGoWaynesboro.com.
News 12, voted best weather coverage by the Georgia Association of Broadcasters. From the station that's on your side, this is News 12 at 6 o'clock.
Shootings, a stabbing, even a kidnapping, all investigations centered around one Augusta sports bar. Now the sheriff's office wants action.
And before your student goes to prom, first responders are reminding them of the dangers that night. But first up, a father fighting to keep his daughter's name alive, now at a loss for words after being honored with her own day.
That really truly means a lot. Truly means a day, like that's...
Today is Arbery Anthony Day in Augusta. Just hours ago, Mayor Garnett Johnson proclaimed every April 25th will be a day in her honor. 8-year-old Arbery Anthony's life was taken much too soon. She was shot last January right in front of her home at the Dogwood Terrace Apartments in a drive-by while petting a pony.
That shooting raising an outcry all across our community. From marches to memorials, people have rallied around this family, calling for an end to gun violence in Augusta. Now the school she once attended wants to mark her legacy in a more permanent way.
Our Hallie Turner has new details on her memorial garden.
This tree and bench may look small, but for those who know and love Arbery Anthony, say it's a visual representation of the roots she planted in her community and at her school that will continue to grow in more ways than one.
Days get to talk about things like this is what keep me going.
It's a simple garden with a big meaning for those who knew 8-year-old Arbery Anthony.
I want to be able to serve several needs: community service, social emotional learning, just a place for everybody to come and feel connected to Aubrey.
One that combines everything she loves.
I know her favorite color is purple, so we're going to incorporate that as much as possible. Around the edges of the Japanese magnolia, I was going to have the children paint rocks in purple so we could put them around it. I'm in the process of having a unicorn either made for her or found somewhere.
Everything she was.
Be a place where we can reminisce on the energetic spirit that Aubrey brought to Jenkins White. Is going to be a place where students can go and feel peace and be able to communicate with Aubrey. It's pretty much going to be a safe place for us. So we'll be able to incorporate it into some of our counseling sessions.
So we love you, Aubrey.
And ties into two places she loved to be the most: outside and at school.
Just wanted to do something special coming up on her birthday and for Earth Day. So we just kind of tie it all in together so that we can have something, a sort of tradition every year for our kids to look forward to.
Leaving her family beyond grateful.
Always keep her name alive, just good spirits, and just keep her name alive. She's still here. She's still here.
In Augusta, Hallie Turner on your side.
And by the way, the garden completely donated by Georgia Soil and Water Commission. It's going to grow to have a lot of colorful flowers. They're going to have a fence and more for students to take care of. And just for her memory, Aubrey's memory, to live on.
And an Arbery Anthony Music Scholarship from Destiny Music Center will also go to a 3rd and 4th grader at that school. We also checked in on the status of the suspects involved in that deadly drive-by shooting. Back in April of 2022, all 5 alleged gang members of the Loyalty Over Everything, also known as LOE gang, were handed down a 25-count indictment. As of today, there's still no trial date set for 5 of the suspects, 4 of them pleading not guilty. Destiny Rich has not made a plea yet, but the group is being held without bond in the Richmond County Jail.
Well, temperatures today did remain below out. A weird setup Wednesday in just about 10 minutes.
The Richmond County Sheriff's Office is looking to close a sports bar. They tell us Level 9 Sports Bar has been the site of shootings, a stabbing, and other violent and drug-related crimes. Today, Augusta commissioners weighed in. The Sheriff's Office says there were a series of incidents dating back to 2020, one deadly shooting, a kidnapping, several battery cases, plus they were named in a 3-year case involving trafficking cocaine.
And now the Richmond County Sheriff's Office wants to give them a serious warning before potentially taking action that could shut them down for good. Craig Allison live for us. So Craig, when might we know the fate of the Level 9 nightclub?
Well, y'all, that kind of a final decision could come in the next few weeks, the next few months, but regardless, commissioners are pushing for a 6 months probation on L9, that if any incident happens within that period, they could be facing a suspension or a full closure. Now, the sheriff's office noted that since 2020, there have been about 20 incidents, including a fatal shooting in December and stabbing from January that left 2 injured. The owner, Von Sellies Allen, says that since January, he has increased security and has ordered metal detectors for the doors and hasn't had an incident since. Regardless, commissioners and the mayor agreed there has been a general problem of gun violence in Augusta that could also be contributing to this.
I've been open for over 9 years, and I'm one of the few people that own my building and my land. Okay, so this is very important to me. I'm always there. I'm one of those owners that's there. I'm not at home waiting on a phone call to tell me what's not happening for the night. I'm there, so I know firsthand what goes on in there. Okay, some of the stuff they saying, they just telling you the forefront of it. It looks bad.
For the time being, it looks like this probation is most likely going to get approved next week at commission.
Okay, thanks, Craig. New at 6 o'clock, construction for the Bell Auditorium renovations have begun. Workers started on that project back on the 10th, yet the groundbreaking ceremony will be on May 10th. The expansion will be 5,000 square feet and 2 stories that overlook Telfair Street. The goal is for the auditorium to be officially complete by May of next year.
Big changes there. We also checked on when voters might decide on the resolution for the James Brown Arena. Commissioners are working on submitting that to put the question on the November ballot, but it is yet to be filed. And then giving the mayor a vote. That's going to be a ballot question coming up in May of 2024. If that passes, it does go into effect that same year in July. It is prom season, and getting there and coming home is a big worry for some parents because of the dangers of driving under the influence.
Today, first responders are making sure the message gets out to everyone loud and clear about the dangers your student needs to look out for. Our Wrdw went to the prom promise simulation aimed at saving lives.
This is all that's left of a mock crash scene that seniors at Saluda High School were a part of. The goal is to steer students away from driving under the influence on prom night and to show what first responders have to go through to save your child's life. It's a frantic scene. Student actors draped across the field during a mock DUI accident.
I got 1 DUI.
It takes it to a different level.
This is a familiar sight for Brandy Black and her family. She lost her son in a car accident back in 2020.
I've never thought about how many people it took to rescue or to respond to a call.
This is all a part of their prom promise event to show the result of making one bad decision on prom night.
If the children knew that it wasn't just about them, it's not just them that they're hurting, we hoped that that would, give them something to look at and think twice about going out and driving distracted or driving drunk.
All of the seniors standing by watching the simulation of the fatal accident.
There's a lot of people that show up that put their lives on hold. The whole point of the wreck was for them to see that.
In South Carolina, troopers say there have been 282 fatalities this year. On average, 50% of those are DUI related.
As a parent, I don't want to sit up and worry. If you find yourself in a situation, it's the same speech my mother gave me, call me, I will help you.
Their goal in the public school should always be target zero.
If we could just save one life, whether it's a student, whether it's an adult listening, it's going to be worth our time and effort that we put through it.
In Saluda, Will Rio on your side.
So a serious message there, one we hope hits home with not just that school, but students all over this area going to prom this season.
Sometimes seeing it in real life, we did that when we were in high school, it really helps drive home the reality of it.
If it helps you remember not to make a bad decision that night, then it is certainly worth it.
Yeah. Candy Smith is back. This time she's surprising drivers. We're going to catch up with her random acts of kindness.
And we have stayed mostly dry again today and only tracking a few isolated showers the next couple of afternoons, but higher rain chances as we close out the work week. We'll have that forecast just after the break. Look at that 7-day forecast. We are going to get gradually warmer the next few days, back into the 80s Friday and Saturday. Next week, we finally dry out by Monday.
Well, she's back, surprising people with random acts of kindness. We have done countless stories with Candy Smith, the woman behind Give It Forward.
Yes, we have. Wrdw caught up with her today, and this time she's filling up gas tanks for free.
You don't see smiles at the gas station very often, but you're gonna see some today.
A nice donation was sent it to me, and they asked me to go out and buy gas. So I'm excited to do it. Candy would give it forward. Guess what? Today's your lucky day. I'm buying your gas. Fill her up.
Candy Smith randomly surprised a few people who showed up to the right gas station at the right time.
How you feel?
Wonderful. I got a free tank of gas. You want me to do the happy dance?
I can do it through the happy dance. That's good.
Candy says she could see how much this means to them.
I think it meant a lot. A lot of people weren't expecting it. You never know what someone's going through behind closed doors.
Today, watching those numbers climb isn't painful, it's joyful.
I won't have to work so hard this week. I got a whole tank of gas.
Whole tank of gas.
Thank you.
You're welcome, hon. Happy to do it.
And Candy says she's not done.
You never know what Give It Forward will show up next. What will be next month? Shh, it's a secret.
In Augusta, we'll vote on your side.
Love to see it. Candy says she's already making big plans for next month's surprise.
Can't wait to see it. Candy, good job today. The high school football championship game will be heading back to the Bends, and those nail-biting plays can now be reviewed with instant replay. More in sports after the break.
First alert.
This tonight at 11 o'clock.
Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley has set the record on her abortion stance ahead of the 2024 race for president. The presidential hopeful says states should take the lead on abortion if the country cannot reach a compromise.
No Republican president will have the ability to ban abortion nationwide, just as no Democrat president can override the laws of all 50 states. I believe common ground already exists.
Haley says if elected, she would try to find a national consensus between party extremes on the issue. High school football games will look a little different this season. The GHSA approved instant replay for the state championship games.
Those games are usually nail-biters, with some plays coming right down to the wire. Alyssa Lyons spoke with some of our local coaches to get their perspective on this change.
Officials do a super job, and they get it right 99.9% of the time.
That 0.01%, not so much.
In my 6 years in this position, there's been 2 plays I feel like that were consequential.
One of them no one will be forgetting anytime soon.
The call was missed. You know, it should have been 4th and goal just inside the 1, and instead a touchdown was called.
Franklin with the keeper. He goes to the right, and he is waiting for official single touchdown.
He's talking about that Sandy Creek and Cedar Grove finish. Fans wanted a replay. Refs couldn't use it. Now they can.
I like this decision a lot more than the one where they added another referee a few years ago.
The GHSA will have a replay booth for state games. Coaches can call for it, but are limited to 1 challenge per half.
I know if I was a referee, I would hate to think that, somebody was not the state champion because of a call I made that was incorrect.
In the final 2 minutes of each half, only the booth can call for a replay.
When you've got all the camera angles like they have in the championship game, there's no reason not to take advantage of that, to make sure you come up with the right champion.
Perfect timing for when the games move to Mercedes-Benz this fall.
I think this one they got it right.
In Swainsboro, Alyssa Lyons on your side.
Okay, so when a team does request a challenge that does not meet the criteria for the reviewable play, the team will be charged a timeout.
And if they don't have any timeouts remaining, they'll get a delayed game penalty. And again, this is only for the state championship games.
On your sideline, sports brought to you by the Hawk Law Group.
As an athlete, there's nothing like that feeling of playing in a win-or-go-home playoff game, especially if you have the chance to play that game in front of your home fans. After falling in Game 1 of yesterday's doubleheader to Toombs County 9-0, Westside came back and won Game 2 3-0. By splitting the first 2 games, the Patriots and the Bulldogs are playing a series-deciding Game 3 tonight, with the winner advancing to the second round. When facing elimination in Game 2, the Patriots put their best foot forward to keep their season live.
We have to control what we can control, because once
something bad happens, it'll be a trickle effect, and everything else can go downhill if you attach the wrong emotion to it. If you just, okay, let's brush it off, let's continue to go, and keep a positive attitude, everything else will fall in place, because baseball is a game of messing up. So you're bound to mess up in baseball no matter what. You're not going to be perfect.
Last year, the Patriots finished their campaign 12 games under 500. 1 year later, under the new leadership of first-year head coach Darius Washington, Westside's back in the playoffs, have a 12-2 record in region play, and have home field advantage in the first round. The Green Jackets are back in town, and today is the Education Day game at SRP Park. In their early start time against Columbia Fireflies, the Green Jackets came up short 3-1. Game 2 of this series is tomorrow at 7:05.
All right, thanks for that, Dan. Luckily, the rain did hold out for the Green Jackets today. We are still tracking some rain between Swainsboro and Allendale in the southern CSRA. Now look at radar in the forecast just after the break.